welcome back to a new post today. And today let's discuss about a very discussed issue from the last 2 days from yesterday. That's about the Katchateevu island ceded to Sri Lanka in the year 1974 by our Prime Minister at that very point of time. So now we have our Prime Minister Narendra Modi criticizing the Congress government who held government at that period of time for callously giving away the Katchateevu island. Let me tell you that we have already had even exchange of enclaves between India and Bangladesh as well. So this was a goodwill gesture between India and Sri Lanka, and now the government is criticizing the Congress party for giving away the strategically located island. So why exactly now this criticism coming up? And this has another geostrategic dimension, or a geopolitical dimension I should say, after that. Let's have a quick insight about some of the very important points with regard to this. And first of all, you should understand that the Katchateevu island is located very close to Sri Lanka and India. It's in between between India and Sri Lanka, located in the Park Strait, which divides India and Sri Lanka. We have a maritime boundary with Sri Lanka, and so during the drawing of this maritime during the agreement of this maritime boundary, this island was ceded away to Sri Lanka. And it is a very tiny uninhabited island, not very well not good for habitation, because it lacks clean drinking water or potable drinking water, I should say. So it spans about 285 acres in the Park Strait between India and Sri Lanka, and just 1.6 kilometers in length and slightly over 300 meters in width at its widest point at that too. It is located northeast of Rameshwaram, approximately 33 kilometers away from the Indian coast, and it lies around 62 kilometers southwest of Jaffna, that's the northernmost point of Sri Lanka, and is about 24 kilometers from the 12th island that is a part of Sri Lanka. Now, one of the most important structure on this Katchateevu island is the St. Anthony's church, which is revered both by the Indians and the Sri Lankans, and they go annually there to celebrate a festival also. So this was built in 20th century, and there is an annual festival that happens at the St. Anthony's Church, where Christians from both India and Sri Lanka jointly conduct services, drawing pilgrimages not only from India's side but also from Sri Lanka's side. Now in 2023 itself, there were almost 2,500 Indian devotees who traveled to Rameshwaram to Katchateevu festival, and a similar number of members coming from Sri Lanka as well. So there is, despite this influx of pilgrimage on an annual basis to St. Anthony's Church, let me tell you that it is not suitable for permanent habitation because of the absence of fresh water source on the island, and this is what is most important to be noted. So what exactly, who did actually own this Katchateevu island? So during the early medieval period, the island fell under the Sri Lanka's Jaffna's kingdom during the 17th century, but then again it changed hands to the Ramnad kingdom based in Ramantapur in India. During the British rule, it was administered as a part of the Madras presidency, and since early as 1921, both India and Sri Lanka asserted their claims over the island, deciding to draw fishing maritime boundaries between the two countries. Now in June 1974, the Prime Ministers of India and Sri Lanka, that's Indira Gandhi ji at that time and R.G. Bandaranaike, signed an agreement to define the boundaries between the two nations and the waters, which include the Park Strait up to the Adams Bridge. According to a statement issued in 1974 by both sides, they declared that the boundary stands established in accordance with the historical evidence, and international principles, legal principles and precedents have also been observed while drawing the maritime boundary. Further, the statement said that this boundary lies 1 mile off the west coast of uninhabited Katchateevu. This agreement marked the culmination of negotiations that had been ongoing since October 1929. Let me tell you, initially conducted between the governments of the Madras presidency under the British rule and Ceylon at that very period of time. So why exactly this controversy now? Now, as per the few media reports, Sri Lanka asserted its sovereignty over Katchateevu by citing that it was a Portuguese occupation of island from 1505 BC to 1658 with the evidence of its jurisdiction. India, on the other hand, had argued that it formed a part of the Raja of Ramnad, that is Ramantapuram, held the possession of the part of the island as his estate, and there are proof proofs of him collecting taxes also. So according to the island was under the jurisdiction of Navantapuram, and there are details or proofs proving that the king Ramnad, the Raja of Ramantapur, Ramnad, had imposed taxes in this very estate of his. So it says that the Raja mentioned the taxes collected in the estate until 1947, when the state government took over the following island following this abolition of the Zamindari Abolition Act. However, during a debate, the External Affairs Minister Swaran Singh stated that the decision regarding the Katchateevu island had been made after research of historical and other records pertaining to the island. So this was done according to historical data. Now, we should remember that the Katchateevu island is important for fishermen both from Sri Lanka and from the Indian side, and just not the Indian side as well. So most of the Indian fishermen venture into the area for fishing, and along the Sri Lankan fishermen as well. So this is a point where both India and Sri Lanka agreed that both the fishermen can use their island to dry out their nets and also to stay there for some time when they go on for fishing. So both the countries share this island mutually for the benefit of the fishermen, so that the fishermen from their side are not unnecessarily targeted from our coast guards here, and our fishermen are not targeted unnecessarily by the coast guards from Sri Lanka. So it's the mutual benefit that the decision was taken to share Katchateevu island between the two countries. During the time when DMK now governed Tamil Nadu in 1974, it contended that the Congress government had not taken it into regard or concern while signing the agreement for Sri Lanka. This is what the concern of the DMK government has been, and therefore the party had organized various protests in this regard. Let me tell you that when Jayalalitha was living, she also raised the concerns of this island with the government of India, and also because of the loss of the lives of Tamil fishermen, she asked to resort to strict legal action against Sri Lanka for doing this. Now, in anticipation of this, a visit from the Sri Lankan president to India, Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, had also written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to open up discussions on the Katchateevu island after numerous fishermen were detained by the Sri Lankan authorities. So the island comes up into discussion every time whenever there is the issue of the fishermen who get targeted by the Sri Lankan sides, or sometimes the Sri Lankan fishermen who get targeted by the Indian side as well. Stalin emphasized that there is an impact of the livelihood of the Tamil fishermen, citing increasing limited access to the traditional fishing waters, which threaten the economic stability and also the social fabric of the communities depending on the fishing in Tamil Nadu side. And Sri Lanka also cites the same violations. So there has to be regard and discussion from both the coast guards of both the sides, rather than targeting the fishermen without unknowingly. So there is also the issue of the mechanic trawlers that are used by the Tamil Nadu fishermen, which lead to decrease in catch by the Sri Lankan fishermen, and then they go on to cross the maritime boundary and come into our section for further searching of fish. This is one issue. Now, why the Katchateevu island is being brought up into debate is recently China has been increasing its presence in the Indian Ocean region. Especially, it has been bringing its research ships very close to the Sri Lankan coast, and also very close to the Indian exclusive economic zone, which is a cause of security concern for India, and India had raised this concern. However, now when Katchateevu is just about 33 kilometers away from Indian coast, and the concern is that China could use this as a Sri Lankan territory and come and station its ships, research ships, very close to the coast, therefore posing a security threat to our Indian establishment and also the Coast Guard. But let me tell you that this island falls into the exclusive economic zone, and according to the United Nations Convention of the Law of Sea, any country cannot just come and invade into your exclusive economic zone, bringing ships to station. They have to take your permission before bringing their ships into a country's exclusive economic zone. So this is one of the reasons that, it is spiraled into a political debate. And also let me tell you that BJP wants to make its footprint into the Tamil Nadu side, and DMK is an alliance of the India Alliance group, which includes the Indian National Congress also, whose Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had decided to share the Katchateevu island between India and Sri Lanka. And that is why all it's purely a political narrative that is going on now, all of a sudden bringing up the Katchateevu island, when so many a times that Jayalalitha and also Prime Minister Narendra Modi was there at that time and she was alive, and also Stalin had also brought it up, but then there was no voice raised. But now, just before the elections, the ruling party has been questioning the government on how it could callously give away Katchateevu to Sri Lanka. But let me tell you, we have already also shared enclaves between India and Bangladesh, so it was taken into regard by the betterment of both the fishermen, because both are exclusive. Somewhere our maritime boundaries overlap with the exclusive economic zone, and their fishermen come up into the India's territory and our fishermen go into their territory. So it's on mutual benefit, friendship of Sri Lanka, that the Katchateevu island was decided to be shared, and also keeping the religious sentiments, which has a St. Anthony shrine there. But however, keeping into mind that we already are into election mode now, it is very clear that the issue is just being used to bring up some criticism against the opposition parties. But this was a brief about Katchateevu Island and what exactly it does mean, and it is a geostrategic location, let me tell you, in the Indian Ocean, also important from the cultural sentiments and also the fishermen from both sides of the countries, based on the friendship of India and Sri Lanka. So removing it now and questioning the leadership at that time, why the given is not correct at this very point of time, also knowing that you are using it for political mileage. So these were the few important points that I thought I should share with you with regard to Katchateevu Island. And if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.